Hello everybody, this is Shane Jernigan from Boundless Machine. Almost forgot the name of my own channel here. If you saw the video, which I don't know if you did or not, Cody, the other half of Boundless Machine, just put up a video where he read the script, Hogskin Harry, which was the script that we put together as the first script we wrote together. And he's like greatly implying the fact that it was our first script, but it wasn't my first script that I ever wrote. I actually was writing scripts for my previous YouTube channel, which I'm working on a video right now of me going through that and talking about what happened and why that channel's dead and why I don't use it anymore and everything. But I thought I would look at a script that I wrote myself that I never did, that I want to do with Cody. So it's not done yet, but I wanted to do a read through of it real quick. This isn't the final draft. I wrote a different one that has way more jokes and it's longer, but I'll throw in stuff there. But it's called Dr. Tate. It's written by me, and it requires 3 characters, so that won't be hard to do. So yeah, so it starts in a waiting room of like a filthy, like dirty, preferably like just the dirtiest shed looking thing. And basically Jared, the main character who's the patient, walks into this doctor's office and sees everything, and he's not even sure if he's in the right spot. And he sees all these other people waiting, and they all have injuries, and it looks like he can't tell if they coming out of the office or about to go in. So he sits down, and then while he's sitting in the waiting room, the nurse opens the door and reads in a robotic-like voice, Jared Holman, Jared Holman. And I actually wrote this script when I had the idea that my cousins who did Crazy Neighbors, which was one of my first ones, I had the idea that they were going to be the main characters in it. But so I wrote it like that. But that's not going to happen. So she goes, Jared Holman, yes. She says, the doctor will see you now. Great. And she says, right through here. And he says, all right. So he walks into the doctor's office, and in the room is like the floor is made of dirt, and I have a shed at my house that's like this. Is where I like had envisioned in my head that it would be performed and shot and everything. The doctor is sitting in a chair, and he like slowly spins around like cliche action movie villain, and he's like, instead of petting a cat, he's cleaning a knife. And he says, Jared, I've been expecting you. Jared says, you have? And he says, yes, you're on the waiting list. It was just a matter of time. So he was trying to put in a little quirky humor. He says, reluctantly, okay. He says, please, take a seat up on the table. And Jared says, don't you think this place is a bit unsanitary? And the doctor says, what would make you say that? I'm laughing at my own jokes. He says, well, I don't know, maybe the fact that you aren't wearing gloves, or that it looks like you sleep here. Even the ground is made of dirt. And the doctor says, yeah, I spent so much of the funding on the blades I couldn't afford tile. Jared says, okay, well then why does it look like you sleep in here? There's a bed right there. And at the time there was an old bunk bed pieces. He says, I do, moving on. First of all, I'll need to check your heartbeat. And Jared says, okay, Dr. Tate. Doctor says, please, call me Ampu. Dr. Tate was my father. And at this point, I didn't know if the joke was implied enough that his first name's Ampu and his last name's Tate, so his full name is Amputate. That was like the joke of the whole thing. So in the rewrite, I put in that joke way further. But he says, please, call me... Uh-oh, I lost it. Call me Ampu. Dr. Tate was my father. He says, your father was a doctor? The doctor says, no, a counselor. Then he puts in headphones and nods in agreement to something. The doctor says, yep, you sure do have a nice beat. And Jared says, doctor, those are headphones. He says, oh, sorry, I was listening to Skrillex. Anyway, you're alive. Your heart must be beating. Now we test your reflexes. Jared says, how do we do that? And doctor holds up a sledgehammer and says, with this. And Jared says, I think I'll pass. And doctor says, okay, suit yourself. So any abnormal pain in any areas of your body? And I kind of took this from a joke that I read in a joke book, and he grabs his knee and he says, well, it hurts when I do this, and he wiggles his knee with his hand. And the doctor says, well, that's simple. Don't do this. And he grabs his knee and shakes it real hard. Jared says, ow, obviously. Doctor says, oh, I'm just pulling your leg. Haha, that's a good pun, right? No? Okay. We're just going to do a quick x-ray. It says 10 minutes later, doctor is looking at poorly drawn picture of a broken leg. Doctor says, oh yes, I see. Jared says, is it bad, doctor? Doctor says, well, I don't know how to tell you this, but we're going to have to amputate this. Amputate it. And at that point, I was like kind of thinking about having him like wink into the camera or like do like the thing. And Jared says, what? And the doctor says, yep, now if you could lay down and allow me to restrain you properly to the table. Doctor begins tying Jared to the table. Then a neck shot pulls out a cloth with a line of different blades on a different cloth. The doctor scans and selects a large blade each time he picks up one, eventually coming to a hunting knife. And actually had like a bunch of different knives that I had like a collection of that my brother had left behind when he left, and I was going to have that happen. And the doctor whispers, perfect. The doctor walks to the table where the patient is shaking and wiggling, strapped down. The camera shows the knife raising in suddenly. The nurse pops in the room and says, doctor! Doctor in a crying like voice, what? What? It was really loud, sorry. Nurse, I'm sorry, I gave you the wrong x-ray. This man is just fine. Doctor says, dang it, I never get to do any of the good amputations. Well, I guess you're good to go. Jared says, oh, thank God. He hops off the table and runs out past the nurse outside the door. And the nurse says, maybe next time. End scene. And that was the rough draft, so that's not like the final product or anything. I have a lot more ideas for that, and I want to put that one together with Cody. Maybe we can film that one. Obviously, we can't film it at school because it involves knives and sledgehammers and stuff like that. So I hope we can put that one together. But you know, I felt like it was a really good idea at the time. I actually wrote that script probably 2 years ago, and I was trying to find the script Disorderly Conduct, which was the second script we wrote as CASA, which Cody had explained that only I or the other groups of CASA would understand, which I don't know if he wants to keep it an inside joke, but I might as well explain it. But basically, we put down Freeze Frame Productions on the script like he'd put, and but nobody ever told Mr. Bruce, the drama teacher, that's our name, so he put CASA on the board, which stood for Cody, Ashley, Shane, Arturo, and we just stuck with it because we thought it was kind of a cool name, so that's what that was. But that was my script that I wrote. I just wanted to do a video like this. Cody did a really good job. Cody, if you're watching this, you did a really good job on editing that video. Probably, I mean, honestly, really, really good job. But that's all the time I have, so thank you guys for watching. Look forward to more Boundless Machine videos coming out soon. Spread it around, tell your friends, so that when we finally do put stuff out, people are actually seeing what we're doing and can give us feedback, then the suggestions and stuff that we want. So thank you for watching. I'm Shane from Boundless Machine, and this is me saying goodbye. See you guys later.